Hey YouTube, it's Krista, and it is April 9th, so it's VEDA day 9, and I thought I was just going to do a chatty vlog and tell you guys some things that have been going on this past week. This might get a little long, and sorry for all the bumpiness. Yeah, not much I can do about that. So, first off, my mom had been in town over the weekend. She came in from North Carolina. She got in Thursday, and I picked her up Thursday morning, and then she just left this morning bright and early. And she had come down to help with my aunt and just kind of be here for moral support. My aunt, who has been going through breast cancer treatments, completed her chemo treatment after about 10 months of that, just a few weeks ago, and yesterday she had surgery to remove some glands and the remaining little piece of the tumor, and it went really well, and she's looking good. We went out to go visit her last night and just get her tucked into bed and make sure she was doing okay, and she looked really good. So overall that was successful and good report from the doctors, and I'm just so happy for her because last year in June I posted a video about both her and my grandma getting their cancer diagnosis in the same month, like within a week of each other, and so it's been that long that she's been going through treatment, and she still has one portion left. She still has to go through radiation, and then she's done. But it's just a huge step forward for her, and another accomplishment in this journey against breast cancer, and I'm just really proud of her having been so faithful and so positive, and just keeping everyone else's spirits up, including her own, despite going through breast cancer, leukemia, losing my grandmother to lung cancer, and working full-time as a nurse. So she's pretty amazing. I'm so happy for her that that's over and done with. It was nice to have my mom in town, and we got to talk a lot. She got to love on Ori, and it's just really sweet to see that. And so we talked about some pretty heavy stuff, and I kind of wanted to share that with you guys. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit about some possible changes in our life that my husband and I are really praying about, and just seeking guidance and seeking God. And so if that's not something that you really want to hear about, then feel free to exit out of the video. This is kind of more related to spiritual topics than I usually, and I don't usually post things like that on my channel. So anyway, I have lived in the city I live in the state I live in, my entire life. I was born and raised here. About five and a half years ago now, my parents relocated to North Carolina. And that has been probably the most difficult thing that I've ever had to go through in my life, because I have always been extremely close to my family. I'm the oldest of 5 children, so I've got 4 younger siblings that are still at home that I miss so much. And I've always been really close to my parents. They were like my best friends. I mean, I was homeschooled, so just the bonds and the amount of time that I spent growing up at home and just with family lent itself to us having a deep relationship. So them moving was kind of like a big, unexpected, not in the plan life event. And at the time, I had only been married for a year, and my husband's career is in the oil and gas industry, and so where we currently live is like the place to be if you are in oil and gas. I mean, jobs are readily available. If he, for some reason, lost his job today, he could probably get one within a week or two. So, I mean, he has so many connections. He has been so diligent and faithful in just establishing connections and networking in his career over the last 7 years, and it's definitely been a God thing, because he He got his first job in the oil and gas industry, and he started the day after we got married, actually. And he's just had tremendous favor, and wherever he's gone, he's excelled. He's been able to learn new skill sets, and he's had favor with his whoever's been over him, and every job that he's had, it's because he knows somebody, and he has a good reputation in what he does. So that has been the main reason why we didn't just pick up and follow them, because his career is based here. And at the time also, my grandmother was still alive, and I felt this tremendous guilt to not leave her and leave her all alone. And now that she's not here, that's changed a little bit. Also, having kids has changed our family dynamic, and it's so difficult. I'm sure probably someone watching this has experienced this also, of having little kids and not having any family nearby. I have my aunt who's here. She lives sort of far out from where I live. I don't see her too often. She works full time. She kind of has her own life. And I've got uncles here who also have kind of just a different schedule, different life. Everyone's busy, so we really don't have family that we can just call on here. And I've never experienced that in my entire life. I've always been close to family. And so just with the second baby coming, it's just kind of heavy on my heart. I never imagined my kids not growing up with their, aunts and uncles involved in their life, and not being near grandma and grandpa. And I should say that my husband doesn't have family either. He has a pretty tremendous testimony. He's from Russia, and his biological father is deceased. His mom is here, but they don't have a particularly close relationship. He was actually in an orphanage for a couple of years in Russia while she was in the States, working to get him to get to the States. So and that's his only family member. So we're pretty much kind of all alone down here. And just recently, it's been, we've been talking about moving for years, and it's always primarily been it's the job factor. And we've been struggling for a long time with, me, I've never pushed hard for moving there, because I didn't feel like that was my place. That wasn't the right thing for me to do. I'm supposed to be wherever my husband is, and he's my family, and I don't want to be the manipulative wife that uproots my family to be where I want to be and do what I want to do, and then have God not bless that because I was out of line in doing that. If you guys know what I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but so I've really held back and not pushed hard for that. My husband knows how I feel, and he knows how much I value family, and it's not something that he can really relate to fully, because he's never had that type of family that I grew up with. But it is something that, he respects my family, and he sees a little bit of what he's missed his whole life, and I know that he knows, how much I want that for the both of us, and especially for our kids. So, as our family has continued to grow, that's come up a lot in conversation, and finding out that we are having a son has particularly just kind of caused him to think a little bit, because of the fact that he never grew up with a dad. He never grew up with any kind of male role model. Oh, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So I was saying that my husband has not ever had a father figure or a male role model in his life, or a mentor. And I think knowing that he's having a son has kind of caused him to think a little bit about what he wants for his son and the type of people that he wants to be, involved in our children's life and in our son's life. And he's done so well. His whole life is just a testimony to the odds that you can overcome when you have God in your life. And starting out from humble beginnings and just becoming a man of integrity and a family man, despite not having that in his background. And I'm really proud of him for that. So there's that. So there's the whole issue, of us really wanting to be a near family. And then the other major thing is the spiritual growth factor. Where we are now, we met at the congregation that we currently attend. I've been a member there since I was 13. So I've been there over a decade. That's the congregation that my parents were heavily involved in and attended before they moved. And it's a really great congregation. If you haven't caught on to this through my videos, I don't normally focus so much on spiritual topics in my videos, but I'm a Messianic Jew, and we attend a Messianic congregation. If you're not familiar with what that is, I can do a separate video if you're just interested in knowing a little bit about it. But there aren't very many Messianic congregations. In the city that I live in, I only know of 2, and I go to the larger one, and we really love it. It's a great group of people. They all love God. There's a lot of positive things there. Praise and worship is amazing there. However, the strong suit of that particular congregation is not in discipleship and is not in teaching. And for us, that's sort of the most important thing. And we're not getting that. Obviously, you don't ever rely on somebody else for your spiritual growth, but it is hard. And I know it's hard for my husband not having the same upbringing or background that I've had, and he has so many questions and has sought out and gone to leadership and asked for some opportunities for mentorship or discipleship training classes or just anything to help him and further him in his walk and in his ability, I guess, to lead our family. And it hasn't been there, and that's been a struggle for him and a source of frustration for him. And where my parents live in North Carolina, they have this group of people that are also Messianic, who are all on the same page, who are, well, not on the same page, but who are all interested in discussing scripture and seeking out truth, and who are actively involved in mentoring and discipling the young men in the group. And it's just a different dynamic, and it's what we're looking for, and what we believe everyone needs. The Great Commandment is not to go into all the world and make converts or increase your membership. It is to go into all the world and to make disciples, or in Hebrew the word is talmidim. And I think we both, my husband and I, just long for that type of community, because that community factor and that discipleship factor is missing currently where we are, and there's not a lot of options as far as Messianic congregations go. And unfortunately, even within the church, there's not. I think true discipleship for men is lacking across the board. And just lately in my personal life, I've seen the effects of that lack and that need within the body of believers. Just too many situations and scenarios to go into, but like struggling marriages and kids that are not walking with God, who come from believing homes, but those parents never really discipled their kids, and it's because they didn't know how. So I mean, we're just seeing these things, my husband and I, and knowing that that's not what we want for our family and for our kids, that we want truly to be a part of a community that will challenge us and encourage us to do hard things and to really seek out truth, and not just seek it out and talk about it, but seek it out and do it and live it. So all that being said, we moved out of our apartment, and we're living currently in the house that my grandmother lived in for over 30 years. And that's giving us an opportunity to save some money, and the intention was for us to buy a house, and we had started on the process of getting a realtor and looking at neighborhoods, and we have already had a couple of bumps along the way. And honestly, from the beginning of that, it's always been my dream to have a house. I just, I grew up in a house. I want my own space. I want to be able to do my own thing and paint and have a backyard for my kids and have more room to host and do things. But I honestly wasn't that excited about looking for a house, because I knew that meant that we would be stuck here where we are currently for a good while. If we made that commitment, and I was trying to kind of not listen to myself and get excited about it, because it's what I've always wanted, but just with all of these other factors, and knowing that what we are looking for as far as family connections and spiritual community isn't really here, but the job is. It's just difficult, and we've kind of come to the point where we have to make a hard decision. Do we step out in faith and move and have a possible career change for my husband when he has done so well and has been so successful in his career here and has established connections, or do we not move and we'll be doing well financially, but not having that family life that we want and the spiritual community that we want. Either option is kind of scary, and either option is a sacrifice, but we have to decide what's more important for us and where we feel like God is truly leading us. So there's been a lot of discussion going on with my husband and I, and it's hard stuff to talk about, and it's scary, and it's we just want to do the right thing for ourselves and for our kids, and it's hard to know all the time what that right thing is. But I sort of feel like if we move in order to be closer to family, because we want our kids to grow up with a true vision of what multi-generational faithfulness is, and to grow up seeing their grandma and grandpa serve as leaders in a congregation, and their aunts and uncles walk with God, and to be a part of a spiritual community that is lacking what we have here. I feel like God would bless that, just like He's blessed us being here, because we're going and seeking more of Him, and choosing that over money, or that over a house for another couple of years, or whatever it might be. So I don't know if you have any insight or thoughts, or you have had an experience similar to that, where you've been separated from family and you felt like you wanted to relocate to be closer to family, or relocate for spiritual growth purposes. Let me know. We'd appreciate any thoughts and prayers, and if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area and you have connections, let me know. We we're just going to take it one step at a time and see kind of what happens. Obviously, we're not going to pick up and move right away because I'm due in July and my midwives are here and we've already paid them off, and you know we'll have Noah, and hopefully shortly after, you know, some big changes will be happening. We'll see. I'll definitely keep you guys posted on what's going on. But I just wanted to share that. I'm sorry for this long vlog, but it's a huge thing going on in my life. So let me know what you guys are thinking. If you have any advice, and don't forget to rate and subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye.